Hello friends, what's going on? Hopefully everybody had a nice trading day. I know it's been a little bit tricky, especially the New York session. You will see the London, the Frankfurt was again super easy to trade, so nothing very special. So really just following step by step our trading plan, our strategy, and you would have been gaining some crazy profits, our daily bread and butter, our 1 to 20. Now, I would like to welcome all the new members because again, most recently more people has joined the inner circle, and yeah, just a quick advice for everybody here who is new. Go to the start here section because many people miss out on that one section where everything is explained step by step, and then please go over the whole education. Important is to understand that our knowledge here, what we have, our strategy, everything is slightly changing with time. So probably sometimes you will see some course content which we do not apply that strongly anymore. For instance, charge. That is one of the topics which I do not consider that much anymore. So what I recommend to everybody is always to also watch the most recent trade recaps and the Zoom calls. The Zoom calls are like the most effective things that you can watch here because I'm summing up there the whole strategy. But of course, you need to understand to have some basic knowledge of SMC. And this is what you will find in the education section, but also there are some advanced stuff as well. So please, especially if you're new to this whole smart money concept trading, please watch every single video that is in the education stuff. If you are already a little bit advanced, then what I definitely recommend you is to watch at least the structure and all the advanced videos, because I also marked some of them which are advanced. But please go over every single chapter, read through it carefully to see if it makes sense to you. But also, even if you are advanced, I think these videos will not harm you or something. It will just help you to reflect things. And this is why we basically do all these Zoom calls that often, because it's important to always repeat the content. Okay, so cool. I would say we're going to just jump in this video. And before I'm going to go right now over the whole recap, I just would like to go again over the sessions just for you to understand on how we approach them. So I mentioned that already in the last Zoom call, I guess it was, but I would like to just tell you that one more time. So we have basically some strategies that we take on a daily basis, and especially our daily bread and butter, our 1 to 20 trade is like the one which I recommend to everybody, especially at the beginning, because it's not that difficult to understand and to trade it. So I'm going to mark right now the sessions that we trade. So we got the Frankfurt session, of course, the London session. Then we got the after London. Important to understand when is after London. So around 10 o'clock is where it starts. So it's after the London move specifically. And the London move will occur somewhere around 9 o'clock. And it will end around 10 or 11, 12. It's always a little bit different, so there are no clean rules. But till 1 o'clock, okay, so 13, is where you could still look for another opportunity to trade after London. And then, of course, the New York session. And the New York session is the one which is the most manipulative one. Keep that please in mind, so especially if you're new, especially if you're not as good in trading right now, okay? I would just highly recommend you to focus only on these two at the beginning. And if you want to get a little bit more advanced, then after London is a good start, of course, because after London is also not that clean for the majority. And New York is like also for me still a challenge sometimes to get involved in proper trades in New York. So most of the cases New York is not as good for me, but still I managed to take also there at least one good trade. But sometimes it's also for me very tricky to understand. It's super manipulative. But let me explain it step by step. Like what we do in the Frankfurt session is we just look for the opening. We understand the overall situation where price is, and we understand what kind of things the price wants to go for. It's like if the 1 minute is bearish, 1 minute goes like this. You got a nice supply zone which is unmitigated like this one. Then here is the Frankfurt opening. You wait, you wait for price, and you have here probably some nice liquidity as well, which will be great if you will have here some nice liquidity. And then what you're doing is you wait for price to tap into the supply zone, wait for your 5S confirmation, because you understand you're already on the M1 boss, so you can wait for the 5S, or you go for a risk type of entry, which is both good in this case, and then you go for a nice 1 to 20 pip movement. But if you have here like an important demand area and you would need to close it at 1 to 18, then please close it at 1 to 18. London, the same kind of thing, but London in most of the cases will just do it like that. We'll push it up and we'll just come to this supply zone, and this supply zone then will do the same kind of thing and drop it more to the downside. Of course, price could also break it, and go back bullish. But as I said, there are always a lot of things. Then we come to the after London, and the after London more than likely will just give you a nice pullback to the upside. So it will offer you like the counter trend many times. In this case, this is your M1 demand zone. That could be your BOS. You understand that there here you got liquidity, and you just wait for price to come into your demand zone on the M1. Wait again here for your 5S confirmation, then you go for that one specific direction, and then the New York will kick in, and the New York will be just super manipulative. Many times if you have a structure like this, price will do it like that. We'll hunt you here, we'll hunt you down there, then we'll do it like this, and then it will push up in that direction or in the other one. So this is how I experienced New York many times, and today we had such a situation, nearly such a situation. I'll explain it to you more detailed. But important is just mark this here for you just to understand. It's super important to understand it. So Frankfurt, London, after London, and then you got New York. And usually for me it's like that. The moment when I got one good trade in New York, I'm out of New York and it's done. I'm not looking at anything else anymore because I don't want to overcomplicate things in New York, especially I know it's that manipulative, so why should I put myself in a position to just try to squeeze out more trades? It's not necessary. I got a new day, and then the next day I can again trade Frankfurt, London, after London, and then sometimes again in the New York. Okay, so mainly I do not always trade only New York. Also what I like is just to trade probably just one session, like only Frankfurt and London. So I always use them in combination because Frankfurt doesn't has that much liquidity like London. I also like after London very much because it's also very often super logical for me. You just understand it just comes like many situation that would be here where price is rejecting an M15 demand zone, so it likes to then just give you a reaction. But of course we'll wait for a 1 minute boss over there, because at that time if Frankfurt and London push it that much to the downside, then M15 will be probably still bearish, so it's stupid to go bullish. So we want to wait there at least for the 1 minute boss. Yeah, great. So I really enjoy right now this picture. Looks cool, I guess. So probably for some people would be a nice note. So we share that with you as well. Cool. So we got that. Then I would say we're going to go on the charts to understand what price did today. So M15, let me use the backtesting tool. Yeah, super important. Something which I forgot to mention is the Asia liquidity. I also like to just mark the Asia liquidity on the charts, to understand potential targets for the market. In this case, the Asia liquidity works super good for us. But mainly what I'm looking today, because today you don't need the Asia liquidity, just saying it up front, you don't need it every single time. Sometimes it would just not help you or something. This is a cool situation of 4 hours, because if you look at the 4 hours, you have absolutely no clue what price is doing right now, if the price will be here. Okay, but we can see that 4 hours already broke structure to the upside. and confirmed the back bullish, because early on it gave you the boss down there and it confirmed you a bearish continuation. So this is why me personally, I was expecting price to move more to the downside, but that's what price didn't offer to us at the end. What we also understand is right now, and this is the cool situation, price is heading into this big supply range. Keep in mind, it's a big supply range, so price could anytime reverse. We don't know when it will reverse from the 4 hours, and we do not care. We just need to understand that 4 hours are right now in some kind of supply area. And in this case, because price is moving up higher like this, we understand that we have here something. This is something significant. Why is that significant here? Because you can see that that one OB, that one supply area here, that one up move, created a boss. That boss was really a strong boss because it broke here some very significant structure. And we understand at this point here as well that we got nice liquidity, and this is exactly where price is moving right now. So when you look at this, you understand, or you need to understand, yo, we want to go short here. That's a nice POI for short. Still, you could expect price to come up to the top, like this. Could be also possibility. This is why we go straight to the M15. I don't go to the 1 hour. 1 hour will just confuse me. And I'm just looking at this price action. And this price action already is telling us a nice story. That's something which you need to learn, guys. And this is something which you will not learn from 1 or 2 videos here in this inner circle. You will also not learn in 1 month or so. You will just need some more time to understand that, because also me, it took several months to understand it and to make interpretations like I'm doing now. But for me, it's just by looking at this picture, it just tells me right now, okay, they hunted that liquidity. They hunted that liquidity with this strong candle. Okay, now that's difficult right now to explain to you, but I can explain it to you still in a way, because what I can see here is price continued to be bullish and bullish and bullish on M15. Relevant for us are these points here. You got this. Price broke structure here to the upside. So where you want to see price is breaking actually this in reality to confirm you that it will go back bearish. That's like your bullish leg in this case. Now you understand that within this strong candle here, price in reality closed above liquidity. Now that could be a fake out, on the 4 hours and so on. But we do not care about this. What we just understand right now is like it just boom exploded in this pool of liquidity. So that means all around here there are orders. The biggest orders are starting at this point here, but already here there is something, So everything up there can easily bring the price lower. That's the idea that we just have here from start. Now for us important is anyway to wait, because we do not trade that session. I'm so glad that I don't need to trade Asia or something, because Asia just looks a little bit tricky in my eyes, to be honest. But yeah, cool. Still the same concepts, but still here we mainly trade, these sessions, because this is where I have the most experience. If you want to trade the Asia session, yes, it will also work with the same concept that we are applying, just probably a little bit different sometimes, especially when it comes to the timing. And probably on the Asia session, you should not trade this here where it's the end of it, okay? So what we do understand now, this is super important. Price already broke structure. Now it didn't broke structure now like it's confirming right now that everything is turning bearish. The M15 overall, the swing structure of M15 is still bullish, because the swing structure in this case is like this. It's your leg. Your bullish range is still here. Do we consider that? Yes, for sure we consider that. Why? Because that will tell us, yeah, we have here a demand area where price could just still come into it to grab that and to give us a move. Now, the move that price potentially will give us here doesn't need to be right now a continuation, but could be the continuation, because we could say, you know what, we have here liquidity. That is liquidity basically, because in an uptrend, everything, the higher high is always liquidity. But at a point like here, you can see it failed to go up higher. So what it did in reality here, it rejected this supply area, and this is a valid supply from here, because price from here dropped down and gave you the boss, which makes automatically this as your next supply zone. And you can see how everything here already got step by step mitigated. So like this range got mitigated. Okay, that supply zone got mitigated. The next one here got mitigated. And price is just heading step by step lower right now. Now we could make this, of course, a little bit smaller, but like to understand that price from here, that is like the aura, you know. Here was the aura. This is where they brought it back down for a pullback. In most of cases, this is also exactly where price will head, you know, to give you like again a mitigation. So cool, price is dropping. Now for us, this is right now not that relevant, but we just understand that price potentially from this point here, it's forming a new structure. And it broke it. You know, it gave you boss. That's cool for us, especially because we understand right now, okay, 15 minutes before price is open up with Frankfurt, what we can spot here is again demand area. You know, this is a valid demand, but price already spiked pretty much to the downside. So for us, it's not relevant. Okay, this demand zone anyway, it's not relevant because this one is just liquidity for this demand here. Cool. Now what we're doing the next step, guys, is we go on the M1 to understand how the price action the M1 looks. Not looking at M5 or something, because M5 I'm only looking if I'm super confused, but M1 is doing. What we can spot here from the first view is, and that's super easy and simple to understand, is you got, again, where is the real supply? Where is the supply? Well, just look for the real BOSs. This is your boss. Okay? So this here caused that boss, right? So that's all you need to look for. You can see nicely how it even took this liquidity. So that means there are definitely institutional footprints in the supply area, and the idea is to go short from there. M15 at this point here, the substructure turned bearish, and that's what we want to follow. We don't want to follow right now the bullish swing structure. That's the problem that people are doing. We can just, of course, we can look for that. That's not the case. But I want to see always, so I always want to flow with this with the substructure, because the substructure is the actual price action of price. And you will just need to wait for additional minutes until that will shift again. So we always go with the substructure on the M15. What we can spot here, guys, is liquidity. That liquidity will be for us, the liquidity, so that we can go short up there. It's that easy. So we'll wait now. We'll wait now for price to kick in. As you can see here, M1 already started to follow bullish substructure, and potentially you can go even there on a long, you know. Boom, crazy. So what it did is it gave you here demand zone. Okay. It broke like here something. Okay, but that's not clean, you know. That's of course not clean, but you understand this. That's the beginning of the whole story. Price is breaking substructure. what it's doing here now here, that's important to understand. This is just liquidity. This is liquidity for the demand zone down below. That's probably one of the things where the majority will struggle to understand, okay, what is right now my liquidity or not. Important to understand in this case is we mainly do not trade these things right now in this case, because we know M15 is bearish, so it's stupid to go bullish, to be honest. Now we understand that we got a PY up there, which could make it for us attractive to look for a nice longing opportunity. But to be honest, here I can only spot these equal lows down there, plus inducing right now here more liquidity to drop down lower. And then I would say it's a little bit complicated to understand, okay, what is right now my real demand zone. You could, of course, use it like this. You don't need to use that wick. I would do it. So most cases I'm not doing it, but in this case I will, to be honest, really use it because it's not too sure. But the setup is definitely setting up like that. And it's just not really our strategy to trade like that. I mean, you could if you wish for maximum on 1 to 10. That's not what I'm looking for, so it's not my setup, not my strategy. So I just let the price move in the direction, so I will only get in the market if price will trigger me. That's cool, so here, and that was probably a little bit tricky today then. To be honest, I wasn't at the charts today on the Frankfurt in New York, on Frankfurt and in London, but it was a pretty nice price action, to be honest. What you can see here is, and that's probably the thing where it could be a little bit tricky to understand now how to enter this. Now for me, if you look on the 5 seconds, and I understand that the range up there, so I'm always looking here to look for a 1 pip. Always looking for like 1 pip. Here, the 1 pip. My strategy here offer us always like a 1 pip entry in almost all cases. Sometimes not, of course. And this is why you need to understand also all these things here, what price is delivering here. So to make it for you right now, like, will it come into this area or not? In this case, it's just like 1 pipette where price, or here in this case, 2-3 pipette where price didn't tap into it. I would say the moment when price has formed this price action, okay? And that price action really broke your structure to the downside. That would be for me my clean entry to say, you know what? This is my supply zone, and I would just use, because I understand here, nice liquidity, okay, nice liquidity for the market. I would say, so that's how I would have been trading it 100% today, exactly like that. Okay, it didn't tap perfectly into the M1 supply zone, but you can understand here on the M1, the first place anyway, that price here is it's like a V shape. It's very strong, very aggressive. You got a very big imbalance, and whenever you have a very big imbalance, price will not really come all the way to the top. So it would be cool if you will just use it, even probably like this, to just give it a little bit of extra. And then important for you is definitely to wait to see what 5 seconds is giving you. And in this case, if you just look on this is like not a nice BOS or something here. There is, that's like, this is your structure here. That's your structure, what price is giving you here in reality. But this here, this is definitely right now at the moment when price here, that move down here, confirmed you everything, because the way and how I delivered you here was just a nice supply zone with nice liquidity, and then you understand that this is the thing that wants to get mitigated, and you put your entry right here at the beginning of that candle, so like above of this liquidity, and you just set it up for a 1 pip, and you will get in the trade without any doubt. I know it looks like kind of aggressive always whenever you're on the 1 pip kind of things, but this is how I would 100% trade it. And that's kind of the thing that you need to learn to train your eyes to recognize it in time. I know it's sometimes very fast and so on, but you know that's right after Frankfurt. You know that M15 is bearish, you know that M1 is bearish, and you know that you just want to see some extra confirmation at the time when price is mitigating a M1 supply zone, or in this case even just the imbalance, and then you just go for it. If this one here would have been a failure and it would give you right here above again the same kind of thing, a BOS on a 5 seconds, then again you need to get in this trade involved. But many times price will always give you, like on the first start, if you're doing everything, applying it everything correctly, and you're not hurrying to say like, okay, that was my boss in this case, because in this case you're really super low. I need to tell you that in this case you're super too low. So this is where I say, yeah, that could be the real mitigation already, you know. As you can see, that was the real mitigation. But here they already induced everything, and they said to the other institutions like, we are ready to drop down very soon. And that's what they're doing. Okay, so it's always, you really need to think a lot here in the strategy. It's not like step 1, step 2, step 3. It's, of course, you need to apply all these steps correctly, but then you need to think and to understand, okay, what is the market telling me here? What should I really do? And that's the story behind it. That's the real story. That's what price did, and that's how you should apply it on a daily basis. Yeah, and price is then just running, guys, running for a nice trade here. Same kind of thing. Always, I would let it open for a 1 to 20. Because that's our daily sauce that we're looking for, and I guess it's all we need, nothing more, nothing less. In this case, you know, you got there your demand zone or something, you know, so you could, for instance, in this case, would even make sense to close probably early on. You just need to keep in mind, and you know, in this case, and that's also how I close to when I think it was yesterday, the New York trade. You're here in the M15. You need to understand here, you're in the M15 demand zone. You are on the swing structure, you're still bullish. So you're looking here for your demand zones, and that is like your demand zone. That is relevant for you because that demand zone in reality broke everything here. So you want to close it here. So I would definitely recommend closing it down here. I know it's right now not a 1 to 20 like we wanted to see it, but 115 is already cool. And you need to understand the moment when price is approaching here is like 10 minutes before the London session. So that could be something which speaks against you. And this is exactly what price is doing here in this case. You know, it's really just reversing. It's just doing it, you know, in a very crazy way. Guess it went, yeah, it just went, you know, here perfectly to the wick mitigation down there. So it really just mitigated everything out of it. So if you are like super crazy, you could go for the wick, which I never recommend. You know, on taking profits, I'm not that crazy to be super exact. I like to just close at 1 to 18. It's cool for me. 119, 117. It's cool. But with my entries, I'm super crazy. I want to take good entries because that's important. But then when it comes to the close, you know, profits are still profits at the end. But, you know, I don't want to close it for a 1 to 10 or something. But for a 1 to 20, around that, it is cool. But if it's just only 118, you know, I take it. It's cool. If it makes sense that it would just speak against me. And in this case, it just speaks against everything because everything is still bullish here. That's your bullish range, guys. Keep that in mind. I know everything is bearish here and it's cool to go bearish. So bearish is definitely still the direction and so, but keep that in mind, guys. So we understand then at that time what M15 is doing. Let's go back like that, because that's important now to understand how M15 looks like. So it comes into this demand zone, and on M15 it already looks like super obvious that's the demand zone and stuff, and it just continued to give you like another BOS down here. Now, that means what price is going to do? Well, it has already the target to mitigate the supply zone here up there and probably really the wicks. So everything speaks at that time against you. It speaks against you the fact that you got a demand zone down there where price is heading and an M15 demand. You got bullish M15 swing structure. You got unmitigated supply zone. So the only thing right now which says, you need to hold your shorts is like the M15 substructure is still bearish, and that's it. So everything says close it at that time, and that's what you need to do. Cool. Then what price is doing, it's like heading into the supply area, and you just want, of course, to look here to look for a nice short. So you definitely want to look here for price to drop down like that all the way to the downside. And also here you have like many opportunities how to approach this. So let me just delete this so that I can explain you this price action more clean. So it's in this case the whole wick. So always you go for a 1 pip, right? So you always want to really use the extremes of the extremes. In this case, it's not a cool trade. So the London is not very cool. Why? Because it's a V shape. Whenever you have a V shape, it's like, oh damn. Always when I see it's V shape, oh damn. I don't like that too much because it just gets a little bit complicated to get into entries, and probably it will take you 1 or 2 losses before the real movement. Important to understand is here you got boss on the 5 seconds. Boss. You also got here boss. So the moment when price gave you here that boss, you have your eyes on your entry, but you will just realize 20 seconds later that price will not head up back here. Yes, there is a supply area and price could potentially come into it, but makes it a little bit unrealistic because of the fact that price just dropped crazy back down. And you see here something that could be interesting for you. This small thing here. And whenever you have a small thing like that, you can keep in mind it will always fake a little bit out of it. It will go up higher like it did here. So I would never recommend just using this as like your entry or something. But cool is here to understand that probably price will respect that, and you stay on the M1 as well to understand what M1 is giving you, and the M1 already tells you the whole story. M1 is telling you here at that time, hey yo, cool, I got BOS, so I want to come into the upper high here, in the second half, and at the time when price is reaching that, I can look for shorts. And that moment occurred specifically exactly after that 5 seconds OB here, like that was. It faked out of it. And it gave you then here the boss. That was the real boss in this case. And this is your supply zone. And that supply zone can be, of course, made smaller, but we only want to go for a 115 because in reality, it's like this. Okay, in reality, you have here like a V shape, and you just want to go here at the time when price is here. So like already here is where you can get your first entry here. It's cool because it broke this significant structure. So please treat the 5 second like any other time frame. Just using the 5 second, the real ranges. Okay, you can just be like more aggressive, like to consider this as a BOS, and very good POIs. You can do that, but this is right now not the best POI at that moment. This will be the best POI. So in a POI like that, you can consider things like that also as some BOS, but that's probably a little bit advanced. Okay, so please just stick to the range. It's already enough in many cases. And and you don't need to take every single trade, okay? Especially not at the beginning. I know with this strategy, what we're applying with the M15 and with the F5S, the way and how we do it, you can really trade every single movement, you know, how should I say, every movement that is worth trading it, you know, you can trade that. But, you know, don't over trade, guys, because that can come very quickly, and whenever you're doing that, you will lose money, trust me. So that's your entry at the end, guys. So really, that one BOS here made the confirmation, because you need to understand that time here you are bearish. You are bearish. The M1 is bearish, and it's a V shape, so price will not return all the way back up. That is something which you need to understand. The moment when price gives you the M1 boss, you need to understand that very quickly. Then price is anyway giving you here a lot of time, giving you this kind of price action here, and then you need to just understand, okay, I'm right now in this half here, I want to go for a nice short. And this is exactly what price is just offering you. That's the real confirmation for it. And then go for your 1 to 20, because the thing is now, M15 substructure is bearish. The fact that price even gave you M1 boss is telling you price will not come higher than that. That means M15 just mitigated this here and wants to go lower than this, and this is automatically the target. So you want to go below the M15 demand. That is the point where everything is telling you already M15 demand zone will not hold anymore, because M15 demand zone just officially failed due to the M1 boss occurred. Of course, that M1 boss could be a fake out and price could continue all the way up, but that's the way and how we look at it, because that's the highest probability, and we always want to go with the highest probability, and that's cool. So yeah, here, that's cool. That's super cool now. Yeah. So look at this. Price even offered you right now here like a second chance to get involved into this market. So whenever, you know, you can really understand here at this point that the way and how we analyze that, this is the real entry. That's really the real entry, because otherwise price would just go above it. And it's not doing that fact because this interaction here is like the interaction where you need to really keep your eyes on it. And look at this, how price just came into it. Why? Very simply because it wanted to mitigate like the top of this whole supply zone. So in reality, this is the real supply zone here till the top. Price just comes into it, use that, and continue to go bearish. And you go for your 1 to 20, and that's why you're going to close it. Oh, cool. So yeah, that was like, oops, don't want to go too much. 1 to 20, and you are out of this trade. That's cool. Now, it gets a little bit complicated. Now, today, to be honest, the after London wasn't clean to me, so I didn't really, what should I say, didn't trade it. So I had a look on it, but yeah, it wasn't that clean to me. The only thing which I had in my mind, that is the one that I missed, was this here, because price again gave you boss here, so you're looking again at the top for your entry. But I guess that there wasn't a clean OB or something. Yeah, that's the point. That's the point here. So normally that's the M15. That's cool. The refined M1 will be here, and as you can see, price didn't really came perfectly into it, and this is something which will occur. What you should do in a moment like this is to just follow M1, and that's your probability that you have. But keep in mind, it's already not that effective. It's already not that effective. Here, the boss, not because of the wick, it's because that one wick, then within the next candle, it closed below that wick, and that makes it a valid boss. Just to keep that in mind. That's how you should view it. So like, this is just a trap for people to believe it's still bullish. Then you understand everything is mitigated except of this supply zone. And that one blue candle, the green candle here, it gives you a liquidity for this. And this is how you could have been entering this trade to go here for a short. That's definitely valid. That's cool if you do it like that. As I said, it just gets more trickier because of the fact that it could just get you easily out. So you just look here on the 5 seconds as well. That's your supply zone on the 5 seconds. It's confirmed because M1 is definitely just turned bearish at that moment. So you don't need to wait here for an extra 5S, but you could do that, and that would be like this entry then. Okay, because price, let me just mark this as well here. This is your liquidity. And here it gave you like the real boss. And you wait then for price to return into it. Here is your liquidity for everything. And this is where price then came back down. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so it's cool. So these two are valid for me POIs. I would just use, to be honest, just the first one. I wouldn't wait for the extra 5S confirmation in a context like this if everything is bearish. Okay, especially because you broke the demand zone, you know, so you should understand it's bearish. Cool. Now the trickier part, and that's the thing that I've looked today, and this is where I shared with you so many zones because also me, I didn't know, but I already had thoughts on it, and yeah, I took there also today a loss on that, but yeah, that's part of it. Now this is the point where the 4 hours gets important here. 4 hours are, like we said already, they're bullish, especially because they really closed above it. Here it's bullish, and that was also a point for us. We want to go bearish because it closed above a structure, which means at the same time it's liquidity. So we want to see price going lower afterwards. Now, where are we going to go? Well, in a demand area. Now, what we understand here is this is our demand, right? Now, that demand is mitigated, guys. That demand zone is already mitigated because if it moved up, came back down. That means this here is my demand zone. This is my real demand area where I expect price to tap into it. That's exactly what price did today. It came all the way back down here in that one demand zone. So it's really crazy that it was really that one. I looked at this, but yeah, as you can see, no reaction or something, you know, it's just continued to go bearish for sure. You can see there was something here. You can see these 3 wicks. So price here tried to go up higher, but what it did, you know, it just went for that one mitigation. That was the short ID, which I missed. But then, you know, again and again, it tried to move up higher, but it failed. Just continued to move lower here in the same kind of thing. Again, it tried, went lower. That demand zone, it tried, but it just gave you boss after boss. The problem was then, you know, for the New York session, like you said, you've seen this. You've seen here boss. So the idea was basically from the start, normally, you know what, you go here bearish for this. That's what you look at that moment because M15 is still bearish. But you need to understand at that point of time as well, hey, yo, I'm in the 4 hour demand area, you know, so price could eventually reverse. And that's exactly what price is doing here. I mean, you even have liquidity like crazy here. You already grabbed the whole liquidity from the top while price gives you that move down. So you need to understand at some point it will give you something, and probably it's exactly that one M15 demand, which is in the 4 hour demand zone where price come. So you stay there on the M1, and that's like in this case an after London session, but it's already heading to the New York session, and here you could look for something to entry, but for me not really valid or something. So I'm not sure right now if there was something difficult. So there is definitely the M1 where price tapped into it. That's for sure. But what will you consider right now as the real confirmation? So you could consider this as your substructure break. You know, you can see that's a big M1 bearish range. So in that case, the substructure gets always relevant in a situation like this, and you will need to consider this as your demand area here. It's tricky because I want to see really M1 being bullish. Now in this case, substructure is bullish, which is cool. So you could go to the 5 seconds to look there for an entry confirmation to validate your entry at that point. So that would be cool. And in this case, it's really exactly this kind of thing here. So entry will be exactly here. That is cool for me. So I would say this is cool. Why? Just because of the fact that's important to understand is that this is a big M1 range at that time, and price doesn't have a chance, like, okay, because it didn't form to a structure, to break first the structure and then you look here for your 5 seconds to go up higher. So price doesn't offer you that one chance, but you understand that you're in a good POI, and you understand that everything could be right now confirming it to you, and you understand that this is a M1 substructure boss, which is cool. So you look on the 5 seconds and you understand, okay, there is my demand, I go for it. That's totally fine to do it exactly like that. That's, yeah, the real movement. Then that is the tricky part. M15 wasn't bullish at that time, so for me the idea was to go short, and I went short, to be honest. So I really went today short. Why did I went short? Well, I didn't wait for too much confirmation, I'm honest with you. That was my problem, but I was just a little bit aggressive due to M15 was still bearish, and I had that in my eyes, this POI. And that was my problem, because I need to consider it, and I didn't on my analysis, on my trade setup. I didn't consider it as a valid POI, because I said to myself, you know what, price could still go lower. You know, there is still something below there. We still had there some M15 demands on where price easily could go down, and that was true. That was in fact true. So what I did is, you know what, you look here, price moved like this here, gave you here boss on the M1, and then I just entered here with aggressive type of entry. If I would have been waiting for a 5S, then I wouldn't get an SL hit at that time. But you can see here as well, the real M1 was like here, and I was again too aggressive here. I was just a little bit too aggressive. That was my problem. So that is right now in this case. I need to tell you that was an invalid trade for myself. So I'm sharing that with you right now, just that you understand this is not how you should do it. You know, yes, a M1 BOS in our direction that we want to go, M15 is bearish, everything is cool. That makes sense. It makes sense for sure, but it wasn't good because we didn't really tap into in the M1 supply zone properly. In this case, it's really a big space between them, and we don't have here like imbalances. We just have here another liquidity pools for the market, and that's exactly what price did. Yeah, so not cool trades. Also, timing was not good. So yeah, super shit. Then, second trade. That was this one. So I went here for this trade. I went here short. Again, same thing. I didn't wait for 5-second confirmation, and that was my problem. Okay. So this is super shit what I did here, because M15 took liquidity. So it made sense to look for shorts. Definitely, it did. But in many cases, if price is working like that, it will not work out anymore your supply zone, but it could still work. So what you should do is wait here for your supply zone, guys. Wait for a 5S confirmation. Wait for it. You didn't get them here. In fact, what price in reality did is it took out this whole liquidity down there and it reacted off of this demand area. But this is not the way and how I would trade it. That was not cool. What was more cool was the situation that we had here. M15 at that time already turned back bullish. Okay. Let me just open this because I have here like already super detailed notes on it. So you can see here that's your kind of demand area which price created. I know that was tricky. I don't know how to explain you that. It was like when I've seen it, I was like 100% that is the demand zone. I don't know how to really explain you that kind of thing right now. It's like you need to understand wicks are always supply and demand areas. And in this case, you just had here like something, you know, this here. That was like for me okay, I think that is liquidity for specifically this one, and price could just use that one. It was just too obvious that price will really return on the back down here, and you need to understand that here here is exactly two, you know, exactly the New York Open. So this is where they have their position, you know. So they use that one to get in their long positions. So probably that's the best explanation right now for you. It's 2 o'clock here. Price really just came into it here. That is the demands on that price used. Again, it gave you here boss, and that meant to us this here at the top would have been a nice opportunity to go short. That was definitely one opportunity to go short. In fact, that was a possibility, but only because price, and this is again where M15 gets interesting for us. M15 closed successfully bullish. Here, came back up, entered here in a supply area. This is M15 supply here in this case. It's within this nice range here. Okay, with that one bullish. You got nice liquidity on M15 here. What you want to see is price giving you a mitigation to the demand zone. That was here like the first candle. So like this was already kind of a mitigation here. Still, we could have been expecting price to come lower like here. So M1 boss came into place, and like I said, substructure is bullish, okay, on M15, but when you got an M1 boss, you can go for it. And that's exactly what price offered you here at the top. That was a nice 5S supply zone where price gave you that one chance to go here in a nice short. And that's exactly what was a valid trade. So this is really a valid trade. You can see how beautiful price came into it exactly here, and you can go short. Also here, you don't need to wait for something. What you can wait here, like you see here, a little bit of charge, in this case interaction. You understand this is then your next supply zone mitigation. You use it then there. It's also cool. You can use it like that as well, but in this case I really would recommend put your sell limit up there, go for it. It's, you know, probably not for everybody because it's like a little bit tricky to get into this type of trade sometimes, but there are definitely possible. You can even see nice liquidity here just above it, you know, because I received that one question in Discord today. How do I know which one is liquidity, which is not? Look here, this is the one which really broke this structure here. This here is just liquidity for the upper one. It's that simple. Not always simple, but in this case, when you have situations like this is a clean setup. If this one would be here, and this one, that demand zone would be responsible for that break, then this is the demand that I use and not that one, because then it will be automatically a V shape. Okay, cool. Then we're bullish. We need to look for bullish continuations, and with the step-by-step mitigation, this is your next demand zone somewhere down there. It's not clean. But what was clean, and that was a trade that I took, is I understood this is Wyckoff accumulation, guys. That was a Wyckoff accumulation. I just was waiting for the spring, and that was exactly the spring that price gave you. And as you can see, price here also gave you some options to get involved in this trade. The most easiest one was really just to get aggressively here. That's what I decided to do. But you know, you could also just wait here for that one boss and then just get here involved into this demand area. Again, 1 pip. The ranges are here in the 5 seconds super low, so you can always get in for your 1 pip, or you wait for further confirmation, which in this case was a M1 boss. Okay, that was the cleanest entry. Here it gave you M1 boss. After it broke back down here, it broke back up there. Turned into this demand zone. You can just go bullish because everything here induces you liquidity so that you can go here long. It's also super simple setup. And I guess that was what I shared with you, where I said, you know, it could go bullish, could go bearish. It was like a 50-50 chance. Why? Because we could still expect from price on M15 to just go bearish again, you know, like that's the pullback, and then it goes back bearish to mitigate probably something lower. But we understood now that that's not really the case, that was the intention from price. So yeah, price is just moving up higher, heading to an M15 supply zone, which is unmitigated. In this case, this is mitigated. Everything at the top was mitigated except of this one. That was the only one which was again not mitigated. This one was not mitigated. This is what price gave you reaction. This one here, that was a little bit tricky to understand. That could be, for instance, also one where price gave you a reaction, you know, that was valid one. Had it on my charts, was looking for a potential entry down there, down here as well. But I also understood that this wick here is the M15 supply zone where price will came into it. So I have both on my eyes, and as you can see, the first one didn't give you anything because it just went aggressively through it. You know, on 5S, nothing, just went aggressively. The first time when price started to give you anything was this here, and that was not valid or something, you know. But then, and that was a little bit tricky kind of thing, is price here gave you boss, you know, that was your boss. And that one boss like confirmed to you, okay, you can look like here for your short. And that was definitely something valid if you took there an entry and you failed that one trade. That would be super cool. Or you entered aggressively already at the top. Could be also an option. Here in this case, the best entry was on the 5 seconds. Because what I did is I waited for something on the 5 seconds. And for me, I just understood at the moment when price returned here, that was like the last liquidity grab. I understood this is here the best POI possible for me. So I'm just looking for everything what price could give me. And like I just considered already this kind of thing as my valid POS, but I understood that price could still, you know, go up higher or something. It didn't, as you can see. So it's really like that was really the top for it. Still, I wanted to protect with my 1 pip all the way back up, and that's exactly how I decided to take that one trade. That's probably also not for everybody to take right now the trade aggressively like I did here. Okay, and this is why in this case you can see clearly that New York is not that easy always to trade. If you know this one here, even kind of confirmed you the entry, to be honest, you know, so that could be really like price is taking you here out. That was tricky one. So that was a classic trap for sure. So if you took here a trade and you lost it, it's totally valid loss at that time. So this is like, for me, this is a valid loss, 100%. This here, you just need to understand very quick that one reaction, okay? But it's also cool if you don't take it like that, because you always have many opportunities. And then I'm going to show you the most cleanest one is really this here. That was super clean. So you can always, in a situation like this, if you just really want to see like further confirmation, here you see your M1 boss. You see that this is your supply here, that one wick, that one big wick. You can see that one mitigated to you, gave you another boss. So this is exactly that one only single supply zone which is not mitigated, and exactly down there you go with a risk type of entry, set it to a 1 pip, protect your highs here and go for it. And that's cool. Same kind of thing here. You got here a nice wick. You know, that is your supply zone. That's your step-by-step mitigation. The next supply zone that needs to get mitigated. So in this case, this is obviously your liquidity for the upper one. And this is how you can get in the next trade involved. So you had here a lot of opportunities on how to approach this trade. One of them was a valid loss. That was this one. Valid loss for me to get on this. Then aggressive type of things here. So that was also, you need to understand what I forgot to tell you. This is liquidity. Whenever you have liquidity like this, right below your zone, entry zone, go for it super aggressively. You can even, you know, that's a valid risk type of entry. You don't need to wait for anything on the 5 seconds. I just like to see small kind of things on the 5 seconds, then just to give me like, okay, it's not just flying, because it could just like 1 5-second candle could just boom, take it out if it wants to do that. And in a situation like this where it has that much liquidity, it will do that. It will just boom, hunt everything. So this is what I'm looking in a situation like this, because I'm not that a type of person to always look for risk type of entries, only if it makes sense. This is like a pure nice textbook example on how to approach and risk type of entries for sure. But still, like I said, I want to see something, and already that 5-second bearish candle was already enough to understand it's aggressively bearish, and it will go bearish. But what I really understood was this kind of thing. It was a clean BOS. That was my range. It just probably a little bit of wick above it, very small, but it's cool. It remained at that level, and that's cool. That's exactly how it should look like. That is your real confirmation. Everything cool. Even here, you could consider like this is also something, and your real supply zone is like this. So a lot of things to play here with. Super hidden details here, the same kind of thing. Filling the gap, as I mentioned it multiple times, that could be also a valid entry at that point, to just use it like that. Everything cool. Okay, guys, I think that's it. Super long video, I guess, super detailed. Hopefully you could learn out of it. So as you know, guys, it's not just following some rules in trading. In reality, it's just like the right interpretation by applying your rules, So you have a lot of options. So we really just went over every single piece. So you can really understand that we had here multiple trading possibilities on this market today. And of course, it's not possible to take all of them. You don't need to take all of them, but you can see how important it is to understand when M15 is, where M15 is going, what kind of range we are, where it could change, like in this case 4-hour demand zone. That is an area where you can expect some kind of thing like that. And in this case, price really, that one here above this was already the indication for, probably we will really break that. I was just too bearish because of the fact of the price gave you here that BOS, which is cool. It's cool if you do it like that. Here also, I just really wanted to trade something. It was because of the fact that I didn't trade something on Frankfurt and on London, so I was too motivated. And as you can see, this is the problems why you wouldn't take wrong trades without these two entries. Like the first one was stupid. The second one is for me a valid loss, definitely. But as I said, you had already a lot of indications that price probably will not go down in my direction, and I was aware of that situation, and I risked that money because I wanted to risk that money, and I was okay with losing it at the end. That's 100% sure. But you then need to understand the overall things to know how to make your money back. Problems, what else did is on both trades, I just closed it way too early because here 1.37, so 37 risk reward. Here 1 to 50 almost was possible. Crazy market. Here again, perfect whack of accumulation. You got your BOS, boom, very nice. That was your spring here, cool, super cool, everything cool, super nice. Everything to interpret. So I wish you guys a nice weekend. We will hear from each other next week. Monday I will share then again some nice things. I will give you a quick outlook on the weekend, so not in this video anymore. Enjoy your day, take a rest, prepare yourself for next week. Watch the content, guys. Watch this video, please. Make notes. It's so valuable what I'm telling it to you. That's all you need to really get profitable at trading, to really get crazy profits. I mean, it's not retail kind of things. It's like this kind of thing can really change your life, but you really need to learn it. And trust me, it will take some time. It's not possible to really understand this within 1 month. It's really unrealistic. It's only possible if you're super advanced already, and like you're just using these missing pieces that I'm giving you right now here in this video for you to fully understand everything. It's like, also for me, it took a long time to understand everything more clearly like I'm doing it right now. It's just like most recently where I just understood the way of how we trade now. That's not even that old, it's pretty new, the style on how we're doing right now, to really understand every single movement that crazy like we do it now. Super enjoying to see how everything works now, and yeah, hopefully you will be successful with it again as well. If you have any feedback for me or something, or any questions, feel free to fill out the things in the Discord. Feel free to tag me in the Discord if you have any things that you want me to look for or something, or I should interact with you in the chats. I'm mainly only in the EuroUSD in the main chat. That's it where I am. Okay, and hashtag questions, I'm also there, of course, if you have questions or chart review or content requests or something like that. So as I said, I wish you a nice weekend, guys. Use it to educate yourself and to bring your trading on the next level, and see you then next week, guys, to rock this market again. Bye bye.